I'm Adrian Giffen, and this is Now You're Talking. Parenting in the digital world can feel overwhelming, especially when you're balancing a career, raising teens and preteens, and trying to keep up with it all. Screens are constant, and sometimes real connection feels out of reach. This podcast is your chance to pause and breathe, a space for stories and insights that bring encouragement, perspective, and the reminder that you are not alone. Today, I'm joined by Sam Walnes, co-founder of the Adaptable Human Project. Sam's journey weaves together psychological coaching, physical therapy, military resilience, and parenting in the digital age. In this conversation, Sam shares practical ways to manage stress, foster stronger family communication, and navigate technology with kids. From the power of boredom to spark creativity, to modeling resilience and honesty at home, Sam brings a perspective that blends discipline, compassion, and real-world adaptability. Let the conversations begin. So Sam, thank
Hello.
you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Great to be.
You have such a fascinating background, and your wife does too. And so just start by telling us a little bit about where did the Adaptable Human Project, your business on stress management, how did that evolve, please?
It's a blend of my experience and Lucy, my wife's experience. So I've got a sort of psychological coaching background, mainly in sports performance world. From before my time in the military, and my wife Lucy, she was a professionally trained dancer some years ago, and then she got into she ran her own physical therapy clinic, so she's a manual therapist, a lot of chiropractic, physiotherapy type stuff, and so much of her work had been dealing with physical manifestations of stress in people's bodies, tight jaws, tension, headaches, and then it just goes all the way down the chain and becomes this chronic pain and injuries.
Yes.
And so she was fascinated in that sort of somatic thing, how the body keeps a score, the body.
Yes.
And then really good book. Have you read that one?
No. What is the book?
It's called The Body Keeps a Score.
The Body Keeps. I thought that was yours. Okay, The Body.
No, I can't claim that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, The Body Keeps a Score. So maybe we could share that link in the show notes.
Oh yeah,
later. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's not my own. I can't claim that one.
But you think it's a valuable read?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So her physiological background, the treatment side of it, and then my psychological coaching makes this sort of holistic mind-body approach. And that sounds a bit toe curling, potentially a bit cringy. But I think we back it with a lot of good experience, a lot of good science, and so it can be one-to-one coaching and therapy, quote unquote therapy as well. And then in our clinic space, or it can be mostly for me going in-house and delivering training sessions for people, organizations, businesses, things like that.
And so explain a little bit more about that, how you go into a business and at what point do the businesses come to you? With my executive recruitment background,
yeah, right,
work with entrepreneurial companies all the time.
Yeah.
So at what point does a company say, hey, we've got a problem?
Yeah. So it's very early days for the business. I've only been out of the military for the last year, so we're really starting to ramp things up. And my end, it's things like, in terms of the very initial lead generations, it's business shows like expos, having stands on those and doing networking, certain things, coffee mornings and things like that.
Yes.
Trying to drum up some interest. And then it's just a lot of word of mouth, really.
Yeah.
My most recent thing was with an element of the UK Special Forces. Went in and did a couple of hours seminar workshop with those guys, and it was just a sort of friend of a friend that linked us up, and it went from there, really. So I think word of mouth is a big thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when does a company know that they need stress management? At what point does a company come to you?
Yeah, well, so that's a really good question. I don't know the answer, if I'm honest, in terms of how the business runs and when they decide that's our threshold, we need to do something about it. But so many people I speak to in the corporate world do recognize that's a need.
Yes.
So I couldn't fully answer when they would decide, have that turning point moment. I'm sure I'll be able to tell you maybe in a year down the line when I'm much more established. Yeah, hopefully.
Right. But there would be a turning point moment.
Yeah.
Where they're saying, we've got to hold this team together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're showing signs of burnout or
100%.
stress, and we need coping mechanisms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
conversations with like the police at the moment about going in there and doing that, and so much of their stuff within that conversation is about burnout, is about overwhelm and just run into the ground and no ability to take the foot off the pedal. So that
makes so much sense to me. It is something we all deal with at every age. And so I am thinking and thinking about that you also have 4 children under the age of 11.
Yeah.
What are the ages? 11, 9, 5, and 1, Sam?
11, 9, 5, and 1. Yeah. Yeah. It's quite the spread, isn't it?
It is. And so when you reached out and said, ironically, we run a business with stress management, and I thought, well, no wonder. So
very well versed in it.
Yes. So share more a little about that. So you're growing and building and growing a business right now. And that's never an easy feat from scratch.
No, it isn't. There's definitely challenges. I thought I'd just be in the military for years and years and just be a grizzly old bloke that just left the military and was straight into retirement. And never thought about, even the finance side of it, the taxes and the all the networking and the lead generation, let alone delivering the product itself.
Yes.
Lots to it.
Lots to
it. Learning curve.
So how are you coping with keeping it all together from a family perspective?
I'm not. We're
relationship.
Not. No. Yeah, we're doing really, really well. We're in a really good place. How do we do it? I think the biggest thing, and I know it's sort of cliched, but I think we're really good at talking. I think we're really good. Lucy and the children have a really open relationship. I think we talk to them, not like adults, but I think they understand the concepts of boundaries and integrity and all that sort of stuff. And then, once they've gone to bed, the check-in between me and Lucy pretty much always happens most nights, and about how we dealt with stuff and, processing the inevitable guilt with the moments when you don't. And
Yeah. And so with the digital age, so you have an 11-year-old and you have a 1-year-old.
That's correct.
So that is going to be tricky because the 1-year-old, the 5-year-old, 9, they're all going to want to do what the 11-year-old's doing. Absolutely.
Probably. Yeah.
So how are you managing? It's like you have 2 digital generations in your household.
Yeah, really do. And it's become even more tricky actually in the last week because as the eldest starting high school, a lot of the homework that he's having to do in the evening, which homework wasn't a thing in his primary school. It's all logging on. It's all screen time. So the other 3 are getting down to bed while he's having to do an hour or so in the evening between 7-ish o'clock. And there's no really other time we could fit that in. And it's a bit close to bedtime for him. But the other 3 seem away in his bedroom, tapping away on his iPad thing with a little keyboard attached, and they want to be part of it. And the 9-year-old does have a tablet that we use for audiobooks and for things like a bit of chess. He loves his chess, but we don't do gaming. We don't have any games consoles or anything like that. So there's none of that in the house, which is really good. But yeah, he has his tablet and it's pretty much audiobooks and music for him. And then the 5-year-old has a Yoto. Have you heard of Yotos?
No, what's a Yoto?
It's like a small little box. And you buy these cards, same size as your bank card, that slot in the top.
Yes.
And it plays, Enid Blyton, or has like the sleepy soundscapes, or a whole range of things, or the soundtrack to Wicked, which I love, sneaking off and listening to the Wicked soundtrack. Do you know Wicked?
Yeah, I know. Yes,
okay, good.
I wouldn't know the soundtrack probably as well as you do.
Don't think so. Not many do.
So is that sort of a prequel to an iPad? So your 5-year-old believes that she, I don't know what.
She, the 2 girls, the youngest is she. Yeah.
The 2 girls, 2 boys and 2 girls. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I think she hasn't really, I think we've been really lucky. She hasn't mentioned wanting an iPad. I think she does that need is satisfied by the Yoto. Yeah, I think it is.
Good.
And you can listen to podcasts on it, and they have certain small little radio shows. So it's been quite good, but it's got no screen to it. It's got a very small pixelated screen, but there's no images flashing up. So there's nothing to watch and get distracted by. And it's just, we're home educating her.
Are you?
Yeah. So we're going down that route. And so she's on the school run, dropping off the 2 boys, which is about an hour round trip in total. And she's listening to maths and English and body and science programs on it as well. So in terms of the use of technology, and which sort of trying to lean into that, and I think it's okay. Yeah.
So, but you're not home educating your 2 boys?
No, so they are already in the system. So it's harder to pull them out. We have attempted sort of flexi school arrangements with their schools, where they come out with us for an afternoon or a day, and do some other bits and pieces. But they're also, I can't say too much on it, but they're my step boys. So there are some complications with their other home.
Yes. So there's always those complexities for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
We have a blended 7. So but much older, but like way older adults.
Right.
So that's an interesting dynamic. So are you going to continue? And what was the thought process around homeschooling? I find that very interesting, and especially in this complex world.
Yeah. We just feel like it's really the right thing to do in terms of connection rather than control. And that seems like really, really dramatic polars. I'm not saying the school that the boys were at was really Victorian and all about controlling, but the time and the energy and the connection that the teacher can have with each student in a nourishing sort of way is going to be limited, isn't it?
Yes.
So we've gone down the sort of play route until she's much older. She has a lot of ballet, gymnastics, dance sort of club. So there's a big social element to there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the motivation behind it was just about just feeling maybe like just maybe too young to send her into this boiling pot of all these little personalities, and it'd be nice to just guide them through a bit longer.
Yes, yeah.
And I hope it's not selfish that we're doing it for the right thing, trying to hold on to your children too much. But
I guess the school system is again more complex than it was when I was raising. Yes, and I think a lot of that has to do with the digital world. Yeah. And so there's so many more things to consider now. So you said that you don't have any game consoles or any game computers. Can you tell us your thoughts around that, please?
Yeah, I would love to. Lucy stops us all. I'm pretty sad about that. No, it's just, I can't see when we'd fit the time in. It's not so much a conscious decision as I don't know when they'd sit and game. On the weekend we get out and we do stuff, and we've just bought a little small holding up the road, so about 4 acres of woodland and meadowland. So the kids are out there and we're doing stuff in the woods and growing some stuff and building stuff, and sometimes the oldest 2 say about being bored, but I think it's really important that you cultivate that and let them be bored, and that's where the imagination sparks. And so I just don't know when we'd fit in game consoles, to be honest.
Okay. Oh well, I hear from a lot of people that they wish they never brought them in. They wish they.
Yeah. I listened to I can't remember what her name was, said that was one of her regrets as a guest on your show. Yeah, she'd introduced it and couldn't take it back, and so I listened to that this morning thinking I'm glad that we haven't done that yet, and I think we'll try and keep that wolf from the door as long as possible.
Oh well, that's great, and especially if you're introducing play into your children's life. So tell me more about that boredom thing. I remember my kids telling me they were bored. But now it's. I think a lot of parents try to fill in that boredom. And entertain their kids. So tell me, I'm so fascinated by that.
I suppose it's the case that with screen time, with social media, all that stuff, and how fast paced it is, you're just constantly getting those hits of dopamine, right? You're constantly getting this new novel stuff that then your concentration span is just being completely reduced. and use just something exciting to do or look at or listen to every few seconds, and that's no good. So we'll go to the land, or we might not have a certain thing to do, and they might say, oh, I'm bored, and we just say, there's a hammock over there in the swing, and there's swings over there, or there's some tools and some wood, or you can cut that down, or just do something creative, go and build a den. And I think that's where it always should have been, falling out of trees and riding bikes. That's what I did.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, that's really, that's refreshing to hear, Sam.
Good.
Yeah. You're doing. So have you experienced with your oldest son the guilt? Like everybody else does it. Everybody else has an iPhone. Everybody else has a computer.
Yeah.
Game. And how do you manage that?
Yeah, it's a really hard one, isn't it? And it's become all the more pertinent in the last few weeks. I'm sure will rear its ugly head as they go through the high school and that more kids have smartphones. And how do we manage that? So the group chats and things like that, the kids at his primary school had been on. Lucy would let him borrow her phone for a bit at a time and just contribute to those. But then it goes on so late. Lucy checked her phone at 10 o'clock the other night, and there was something like 88 unread messages from that they were expecting him to see, and he's already in bed by 7, 8 o'clock. So, I mean, so how do we manage that? I suppose it's small boundaries, it's little bits of exposure at a time to it. But I think it's just having a relationship and cultivating a lifestyle where it's not a focus. I mean, I need to be on my phone and my laptop for work, and a lot of stuff through Instagram and our website, so it's really hard to model the correct behaviour all the time, and it just becomes this thing that the kids see all the time.
Yes.
So I suppose it's just about your own boundaries and yourself, isn't it? And putting your phone down and just acknowledging. I think I explained to my daughter the other day, look, I just need to do this email. I need to step away, and I know it's bad that I'm on my phone, and I want to be here with you. Just having those conversations that, I need to earn some money, okay?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You want a pony?
Right.
It's guilty then. Just use guilt. That's
yeah. So, but on the reverse, these kids they're masters at that. So as far as your son, who you said just started high school, does he have a phone or a flip phone?
No.
Okay.
No, we've just
tell us about that.
It's got to the point when there are, it happened last night. He had a game of football and they ran a bit late, and Lucy's waiting outside to pick him up, and they're half an hour, 45 minutes late. And actually, I think, maybe he could do with just a flip phone to let us know. So yeah, I think we're going to have to cross that bridge really soon. But then it's not cool if you have a flip phone, is it? I don't know. Or is it? Do kids like it? Then you're in this really difficult. I just wish schools would say absolutely no phones.
And what is this? So it varies a lot from school to school, and then country to country. What is the high school like in terms of phones? Do they allow them, or?
I don't know. The high school we've gone for is quite a small and very nourishing ethos one. So I don't know their official standing on it, but they do a lot of forest schooly stuff. They do a lot of a lot of arty. They have a really high. They're not as. Do you know the term SEN? Do you use that, SEN school? So special educational needs school.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, so there's some designated SEN schools in the UK, and some that have a really good capacity for SEN children. It's not a SEN school that he's at, but it has a good proportion of it. But with that, they have this really nice nature, really nice ethos, and it's very nurturing, and it feels less like a big, scary, intimidating high school. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are rules and regulations that align with that around phones.
Okay.
It's a good question. I should know that, really.
When I have talked to other parents, they say that you can get an Apple Watch that doesn't have access to the internet, but they can, the kids can text, and then you know where they are. So they could text you, but they don't have access to the big wide.
Right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's another option that parents are using.
But you can still track them.
You can still track them. So yeah, exactly. So there's a child finder on that.
Right.
Yeah. Which you wouldn't be able to with a flip phone.
No.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons to that. I mean, do you ever remember as a kid being tracked by your parents?
No way. I don't think so.
No.
Maybe I didn't know.
As long as we got back before. Yeah, as long as we got back before dark, they didn't know where we were.
No.
Yeah, so it's just a different world.
It is.
Knowing what you know now, Sam.
Yeah.
And what would you be doing the same in terms of parenting, and what would you do differently? In terms
of generic parenting or around screen time, do you think, or just
well, I guess
parenting as a whole?
Parenting as a whole, but a big part of parenting these days is the digital challenge.
Completely.
Whatever the first thing that comes to your mind.
The first thing that we're doing right that I would do again is just these conversations and just explaining things and just giving the kids, they've got a really good capacity for understanding. And actually, if you speak to them like a human and explain and be honest with them, you don't have to be this superhero that's never wrong, do you? You can admit weakness and you can admit when you're wrong. And so important. That's something, this thing, and it's just is linked to screens, how that my parents had the excuse growing up, when I was growing up, that they just did the best that they could. They had no wealth of information really about how to do anything better, so they've always got that excuse.
I think I've used that excuse myself.
Yeah, but I haven't got that excuse now, because I say, well, I didn't know any better, and they say, well, you just Google it, use ChatGPT.
Yes,
but there's there's all this information at the touch of a screen, isn't there? And all this stuff about parenting, gentle parenting and permissive parenting, and all these ways to speak to your kids and ways to grow as a person and encourage them, their growth. And I haven't got any excuse. Can't. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, exactly. That's a humble perspective, though, because kids see us anyway. They know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah, they know. Yeah.
And so we can't, but I always think, forgiveness goes a long way, as far as, because we will make mistakes, regardless of how much information we have as parents. We will make mistakes. And they need to forgive us, and sometimes we need to forgive them. It's a two-way street. Yeah.
We have some really nice conversations around forgiveness. And if I apologize for something, we have encouraged them to know the difference between just saying it's okay, because it might not be okay, and just saying I accept your apology. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But that works in the future, doesn't it? When they just don't forgive someone for the sake of it. Say I accept your apology, or don't just say it's okay, because it might not be okay. You have to choose the language carefully around that sort of thing, don't you?
Yes, those are wise words.
Bit of a tangent there.
No, I think that's very helpful. Because it is easy to say it's okay, because it's a difficult situation probably when you are accepting somebody's apology. It's sort of uncomfortable. Yeah,
and it just just to say it's okay just sort of invalidates the feeling you've had.
Yes,
and sort of plays it down, and it undermines your feelings about whatever it was.
Yes.
So to acknowledge it's not okay, but I accept your apology. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. No, those.
How do we get on
those
that?
Are wise words. I just think, Sam, it's always meant to be, whatever comes out. So, So I would like to. So I created Now You're Talking because the game, because I look around, and when I see parents and children sitting around a table and not talking, and they're all on their screens, separately. They're so alone, but they're together. And so I created this just to create conversation again across the generations. And so I wanted to just ask you a couple of questions from there. And the game is very much, you go down with adversity and you go up with growth and change. So it's a sort of real life version of Snakes and Ladders.
Okay.
With questions that start in the impressionable years.
Oh, nice.
Sam, what lesson in your life has taken you the longest to learn?
That's a really good question. What lesson in my life? So that I've just so putting things off to the last minute has always been my thing. You probably tell that from the email I sent you about 5 minutes before we sat down to this podcast. But that's a constant thing that I'm just maybe it's because I'm an optimist and I think I've got more time and I think I've got more space to do the things I need to do, but suddenly I'm just in this at the end near a deadline. It was the same at university, and it was the same. It's been a constant theme, and it takes. That's what I would say.
Oh,
it's a constant battle.
So at least you're aware. It all starts with awareness.
Oh, that's true. I wasn't thinking so long at the start, not because I couldn't think of something to say, because I thought I'm perfect, but because there's so many options.
Yeah, well, thank you. You do come from a place of humility, and I've only just met you, so that's always a good quality.
That's good. Yeah, thank you.
How often do you tell people how your day is really going?
Well, I think a bit too much, actually. Yeah, I would say too much. I had a coffee earlier and the barista said, how's it going today? I said, I'm pretty tired, actually. I was like, it was a late one and an early start.
Yeah, well,
sometimes they just don't want to know, do they? Oh, right, okay, here's your coffee.
Well, yes. Well, I figure if they ask, but yeah, lots of people don't share that.
Yeah.
So that's good. So, what do you know now that you wished you had known in your teenage years as your son approaches his?
It's really hard to pin it down, but I just really think there's so many things you worry about, isn't there? And those that seem like they're going to be just completely catastrophic events. And I remember, I can't think of an example, but worrying the evening before school and going into school thinking it's just everything's falling apart, and just how much it won't matter in a week or a year or.
Yes.
And it's probably a social thing, a sort of social critique thing about worrying about what people think about you. But just that people always probably don't notice, and they care. They don't care as much as you think they care about you in a nasty way.
Yes. Yeah. And I think in this digital era, I think it's that way on steroids. Really?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Because the kids are being bombarded with all these things. And so by you keeping the phone away for as long as you can, I think that's a way of managing that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so hard to navigate, isn't it? The digital age. Obviously, that's what thing's about.
Yes, yeah. So how did your 20s contribute to who you are?
How does my 20s contribute to who? So it's quite, I suppose, like if you look at it, so the university time, around that sort of time, into joining the Royal Marines at 24 years old.
Which is young.
I think that's actually on average, quite a late joiner at 24.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of lads go in at 16, 18, and then, so that was quite late. How does it, it's a really good question. There's elements of I still feel like I was the same kid at 24 that I was at 15 or 16. I feel like all this sort of growth and awareness hasn't come since maybe late 20s, early 30s. I really wish I'd invested in cryptocurrency or something. I don't know. That's a really hard question, so I probably don't have a very good answer for that one.
Well, you know, Sam, you'll be thinking about it for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And then you'll come up.
Can I email you?
Certainly. But that's part of this. And if you were playing Now You're Talking, and you couldn't come up with an answer, somebody else would know an answer from their perspective. And I've been able to play with about you. Really. So I've played with 4 generations. With my mom, 93 down to our grandchildren, and it is amazing how people see things from different perspectives. They see something in you that they would be able to help with that answer.
Interesting.
Sam, what defines you?
And it's really hard. It's a really deep one. I would say if you'd asked me that a year ago, I would have said being in the Royal Marines. It's almost a shame that it becomes such an identity, but it's such a lifestyle and it's such a thing that you're proud of, and it's been done did it for 10 years, and I think I shot competitively within the Royal Marines, and then
I read that. Yes.
Yeah, and that was my little identity within the Corps as well. But I was, people knew that I was a good shooter and would do these competitions, and that was my identity within my identity. And it's been a tricky year coming out of it. I think a lot of blokes struggle with that sort of thing.
Yes.
When you transition to having all this team and the guys around you, and you don't have to work for friendships. They're all just there. You don't have to maintain them. I think blokes are probably particularly bad at maintaining friendships and getting in touch and with each other. And then what my identity is now is trying to mold it into and becoming the stress management coach that I am, and the dad, and now the husband that I am, and So it's all a bit of a shift, really.
Well, you're in the process of remaking yourself, really, aren't you?
Yes,
or
quite a few things.
redefining yourself based on where you've been and the foundation, but now all these other dynamics.
Yeah.
That's
a lot to unpack there, really.
Yes. Well, that's interesting. And so you spent 10 years. So it reminds me much of professional athletes. And when professional athletes end their career as professional athletes, they come out and they need to redefine and remake who they are, and they create a sort of a new identity that leverages from that.
Yeah.
And it's a challenging thing to do.
It is. And it is such a big identity, and it is so important. It's all consuming. You live there and you work there and you see the same blokes every day, and it's really heavy. Some blokes spend 4 years in there, and some blokes spend 30 odd in there. So, but I think the 10 years is probably quite accurate to an athlete's lifespan, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I don't look like an athlete, but
well, you do from the neck up. Yeah. So, so you're at this interesting, you're on a journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's so. What I'll give you some tough questions.
Yeah, can I have an easy one, please?
Yeah, yes, sure. What advice would you give to high school graduates today?
What have I high school? So high school, you mean 18-year-old?
Yeah, so they're just coming out of grade 12 or whatever. Okay. The school system is different wherever.
Yeah. I know it's so cliched, isn't it? But I knew what I was going to do and joined the Royal Marines, and I loved it and obsessed over it. I think try and find some work that you love, I suppose. That's what I would say. I know it's not new advice, is it? It's been around for a while.
But people struggle with that their whole life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people never find it.
Yeah.
How does this is my recruit.
Can I add one bit onto that? Probably just everyone just go for a bit of therapy, actually, as well. Just book yourself into some therapy. You might not think you need it, but actually there's some really interesting unpacking that actually for me came when I started as a parent that I maybe could have dealt with, and nothing particularly traumatic or nasty, but just stuff about the way you work and the way you think, and maybe have a little speak to a professional about that before you crack on.
Yes, I think, and therapy, it takes such courage, doesn't it?
Yeah. It should be, your employer says, right, this is mandated, you have to go and do it. Talk if you want, don't talk. There's such a stigma around it. But actually, if everyone has to do it, and then those people that need it can open up about it when they're in the safe space. Yes. Yeah, I think rather than getting to the bottom, the horrible depths of depression or anxiety when you really, really need it, actually, if you can preempt it a bit and keep on top of it, that would be really good. Everyone could do that. Yeah, and get rid of that stigma that it's about weakness. It's really about strength. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. So one more thing. So now you're embarking on this journey of your own business. And so how does your experience in the military, how does it contribute to who you are at the Adaptable Human Project? Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, the business name? Well, I like it because we are adaptable when we're open to being adaptable as humans. Yeah. But that's all part of the journey too. Yeah, absolutely. What was the question? Sorry, how did my time in the how did you, so because you're coming from a place of foundation of that. Yeah. And if that has defined you for 10 years, but it's also a foundation, and it's a starting point. It's a jumping off point, really. Yeah. It's something new and exciting. So how does that experience, how will it contribute, and how does it contribute to who you are as a coach and as a leader in this new capacity? I would say there's two ends of the spectrum there. The first one is right now, no one's going to save me. Do you know what I mean? It is you, and you have to do it, and you have to be motivated, and you have to, if you don't, then you'll just flail and you'll financial ruin probably around the corner, and you'll let your family down. But in the military, you had your team around you, you get picked up, and you have your orders, and you have your routine, and you have a hierarchy above you. So that's really different, that you can fall back on those blokes around you. Obviously I can fall back on Lucy and things like that, but It's quite different. So that's the more negative side. But in terms of the positives, it's given me the motivation and the drive. It's the challenges that I've been put through make me think sometimes that I can do anything. And I just remember thinking, so the final test, the final commando test for the Royal Marines is a 30-mile run. You walk and run it in 8 hours with kit on your back across horrible terrain and probably raining. Let's be honest, it's probably raining.
Yes.
And I just remember thinking after I'd finished that, not immediately after, I was pretty tired after that, weeks after that, thinking I could probably do absolutely anything. And if I can do that, if I can go through training, if I can drag myself up when I really don't want to, it applies to everything, doesn't it? It might just be a physical test, but the mental game, the mind game there is massive. And I'm just trying to not get too far away from that mental state and thinking I can do these hard things, and I can drive, and I can push and achieve what you think you couldn't do.
Because that sounds like that sounds like something that when things do get hard, and none of us can escape that. If you can always go back to that, that's a great reminder that you will get through this too.
Yeah, but it's relative, isn't it? There's challenges in everyone's minds and life and experiences, and what you're facing now that might seem like a massive hurdle is all relative, and it's tricky to try and place them and use one to springboard you over the next one. But the growth mindset is massive, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Sam, thank you very much for sharing. Just my final question is, what are words of wisdom that you can share with other parents who may be struggling or with how the best decisions to make in terms of their children in this digital era?
I think modeling. I think that firstly I'd say, they are a product of their environment, and if they see you reliant on technology and on social media, and they're gonna replicate that, aren't they? So I suppose just try and put your phone away and connect, because kids will see it. Yeah. We took my daughter to gymnastics the other day, and for some reason, I can't remember why, but we were just watching, and she just looked so many times to see what we were doing, to see if we were watching her. But it would be so easy to just check your emails, and they see that, and their feelings and what they're doing isn't validated and supported, and obviously it is, but it's not in their eyes. So I suppose just get rid of it for a bit. So modeling's important. So I'd say, like as we said before, try and keep it at bay for as long as possible. But when it does have to come, educate and the pitfalls of it and the pros and the cons, and then don't just make it this horrible thing that is only bad. Screen's bad. That there's obviously there's positives to it, and I just think the open communication about things that are worrying them, things that they've seen, things online, or conversations that have been had with kids in school. Just talk about it. It's try and cultivate that nurturing and understanding between you.
Very much for being so real and authentic. And I really appreciate your time and for you being a guest on.
Thank you for having me. I had a lovely time.
Wonderful. Sam reminded us that adaptability, open communication, and modeling the behaviors we want to see in our kids are the keys to thriving in today's world. His insights on stress management, resilience, and family dynamics invite us all to pause and consider how we show up for ourselves and those we love. If this conversation gave you something valuable, please subscribe, rate, and review so more families can find encouragement and connection here. Until next time. You've been listening to Now You're Talking. Parenting with a busy career while guiding kids through the lure of screens isn't easy, but meaningful connection is always worth it. Take a moment to start a conversation with someone you care about. It could be the highlight of their day. Let the conversations begin. Now You're Talking.